Hello there, people of the internet. How is everybody doing today? I'm out here with my RTI Steyr M95 straight pull. I think that this was a B grade rifle. I can't quite remember, but I think that it was a B grade rifle and it was not very expensive. So whenever I got this, I already showed off the unboxing and whatnot. That's a separate video. And I had no ammunition for this loaded. This is chambered in 8x50 Steyr, which is basically an unobtainable round. Well, I have some 7.62x54 brass that has been turned into 8x50 Steyr, and I went ahead and loaded up some ammunition for it. I went ahead and I slugged the barrel, and that's a process that you use to determine the actual width of the barrel. And whenever I slugged the barrel, the internal diameter of this barrel came out to a 323 diameter, and so that is really good and really convenient because that's the diameter that 8mm Mauser is chambered in. Or that's the diameter that modern 8mm Mauser uses. Now, all that being said, my 8x50 loadings are not perfect, and I am still in the process of trying to figure out and learn how to make a decent 8x50 loading, and I'm kind of gauging it by ear. So with the loadings that I have found online, I wasn't able to find any of the powders that I actually have, but I kind of gauged those powders and just the similarities between those powders and my powders, and et cetera, et cetera. It's a huge learning process, a huge learning curve. But last time I had made 8x50 ammunition, I had used 155 grain projectiles. And this particular cartridge and this particular kind of rifle, it was just designed for heavier weight bullets. And so, although I used a correct type of powder, because of that lightweight bullet, the bullet went out the end of the barrel before the powder really had adequate dwell time to be able to burn. The pressures were just not that high inside of the chamber, and the burn rate of the powder was just too slow. The powder was still burning whenever the bullet went flying out the end of the barrel, and so we did not get adequate powder burn, and we did not get adequate powder charge. But this time, I'm going with a heavier bullet. Since I did 155 grain last time, now I am rocking 198 grain projectiles. This right here is just surplus that I pulled from other ammunition that I had laying around. Okay, so I have no idea how well that this is going to work. I am really just spitballing on this one. However, I do have high hopes for this rifle here, simply because if we bore test this thing, the rifling on the inside of the barrel looks pretty decent, and if we bore test this thing, I got an 8mm Mauser round, this is a 323 diameter, we actually have a little bit of life left in this barrel. So we might not have a keyholing rifle. There's very, very, very little life actually in this barrel, but the bullet just stopped right there. So, like I said, we might actually have a non-keyholing rifle, but I don't know until we actually send lead down range. I have no idea how well this ammunition is going to actually work. I don't know if I'm going to get hot gas back in my face like I did last time. This is really just like a big learning curve. So one thing about these rifles, whenever you're shooting them, you actually want to flip your rear sight up, because that gives you a 300 meter zero, I think it's meters, a 300 meter zero, as opposed to having the sight down, which is a 500 meter zero. Why they decided to do that, I have absolutely no idea, but that is what I am dealing with. So I'm just glad that I have a rear sight on this thing in general, because a lot of these rifles, the B grade rifles, don't even have rear sights attached to them. All of that being said, this right here is straight pull system, 5-round bolt action. It's a repeating firearm that was very typical for the time period that this was made. We do have a couple of designs on the buttstock. I've already gone over basically everything with this rifle. Now I'm going to go ahead, or I've already gone over basically everything with this rifle in a previous video. Now I'm going to go ahead and send a couple of rounds down range. We're going to see where this thing hits, if it is keyholing, and if this load of 8x50 is actually a decent load. So this right here, yes, I'm going to load this thing nice and slowly whenever I am pushing the bolt forward. That's not because the bolt is sticky. That is only because of, like if you notice, I'm kind of tapping this forward. That's not because the bolt's sticky. That's only because I do not have a crimp die for these bullets. I got everything else that I need to load them, but I have no crimp die. And so since I have no crimp die, the bullets are not crimped. So if I force it violently up the feed ramp, the bullet will get pushed back into the brass case, and we don't want that. Looks like this one did not move. So now I'm just going to go ahead and aim at the cardboard. And I did shoot this cardboard earlier actually with my 6.5 Carcano. So there are already bullet holes inside of it. But that being said, this right here should still tell us if this is going to keyhole or not. Because if we have more than 3 rounds, which is the amount that 6.5 Carcano I put in there, if we have more than 3 rounds that have keyholed, then we know that this rifle keyholes. Alright, there's 1 round. I did not get hot gas in my face this time, although it still looks like we did not get quite an adequate seal, but that is much, much better than it was last time. Go ahead and tap this forward a little bit. Send another round here. I'm not going for grouping because I have no idea where this thing hits, so I'm just aiming around the target. Even if we get like 1 round onto the target, then that would be good for me. Got a bunch of hot gas back in my face that time. So that right there tells me that this right here is not the loading that we want. I'm glad I closed my eyes on that one. Do I have a bunch of dirt and whatnot all over my face? Wear safety glasses whenever you're doing things like this. Let's go ahead and go for this next one. I'm going to take aim at our cardboard, lower my head down, pull the trigger. This way, if it sent out hot gas again, it goes onto my hat. Let's see, did we get hot gas on that one? Yeah, a little bit, but not that much. I'm still working on figuring out loadings for this. I think I'm just gonna have to go for a faster burning powder, because I don't think that we're getting full adequate powder burn with this. And we're definitely not getting enough pressure for the brass to reliably expand. And that expansion is what we need for the brass to be able to seal off the system so we don't get hot gas in our face like I just did. So I'm still working on this. Like I said, I'm probably just going to bump this up to a faster burning powder so I don't have to worry about that. But what I am more concerned about is the target down there, because if this rifle keyholes, then there's no point in trying to figure out the ammo. Let me go grab that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have some fantastic news for us. I might be learning how to actually load this stuff up effectively. These right here are our rounds. Now, we do have a third one down here, but this one obviously keyholed. The reason it keyholed is because whenever I hit the bottom of the box, it went through like a whole bunch of bush and whatnot. So we're not going to count this one here because it had quite a bit of things to penetrate and travel through before it reached the target, versus these right here, which did not have anything to go through, and those are not keyholed. That is fantastic. That is a really, 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 really awesome thing. Okay, so this rifle still has some barrel life left inside of it, and that is really, really good to know. Yeah, I gotta say, I am very happy about that, and I am going to have to learn how to adequately load this stuff. This way I can actually enjoy shooting this rifle without getting hot gas in my face. So I will probably play around with this a little bit more. I was hoping that I would get some extra dwell time with the heavier bullet, and we definitely do have more dwell time. There's significantly less burned powder, but we still have some unburned powder, and so that tells me move up to a faster burning powder than what I'm using. I gotta play around with it. I will figure something out. All this being said and done, thank you ever so much for watching, folks. This right here is a massive, massive win, because now I got myself an 8x50 Steyr. That does not keyhole. I know I have my carbine, and I did have some decent results with that, but I also did not do a whole lot of testing with that, so I'm still uncertain about that one. But this one, we got multiple rounds on target that are not keyholed, and our bore is showing that we have life left inside of it, which is awesome. So I will take that as a massive, massive win. Thanks for watching, folks. I do appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you guys on the next episode. once I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.